Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Good Friday, 15th of April 2022. And today's news is match day, and it wasn't that bad. We didn't win, but we did get a draw away at Preston. And a lot of other results went our way. The big one didn't, but we'll get onto that later. Now, what I'm going to start off today's video with actually is, now on Saturday mornings, they seem to put out these stories that are very interesting. But they kind of get lost in the match day mayhem. And by the time the end of the match, I don't really want to go back to something that was published Saturday morning or match day morning, because it's not Saturday today, it's Friday, to bring it to you, because it's kind of faded now because we've got more to talk about. But I thought I should bring you this one, and this was put up on londonnewsonline.co.uk this morning. So war on doorstep, Polish Biakowski. You just hope that nothing's going to happen, and this is about Biakowski and what his situation is in terms of the conflict happening out in the east of Europe. So the savagery on the doorstep to his homeland is cause for major concern for Bartosz Biakowski at the moment, but is also a testimony to his professionalism that Millwall fans will not notice. The Lions keeper is closing in on another ever-present record for the season. In the 3 years at the club since his move from Ipswich, the 34-year-old has only missed one league game, which is funny in itself, because I don't know if you remember back to when he first signed. Apparently the deal was off because he had a dodgy knees, and then we ended up signing him on loan with a key to, with like an option to make it permanent in the January transfer if his knee didn't blow up, and he's played in more or less every game for us since, only missing one in the league and missing cup games as well. But that level of consistency has played a part in Millwall knocking on the door of the playoffs, as they do again this season following a 4-1 win against Barnsley on Saturday. But it's also remarkable that those desperately unsettling events in Ukraine have not distracted him from the job at hand when he takes to the field. I have family in North Poland who live 30 to 40 minutes away from Kaliningrad, the Baltic Russian enclave, which has many Russian soldiers, he told the South London Press. My younger sister Anna is in the military police, so is effectively a soldier, and it is a very tense time, as you can imagine, very difficult for everyone there. The country is helping many refugees come over from the Ukraine as much as it can. I have spoken to her a great deal about it. It is a time when anything can happen, and they have to be prepared for everything. I go back to Poland once or twice a year, usually in the summer for a few days. I hope to go over again this year. I have 2 young kids, and we also want a holiday away from everything going on there. Of course, in a way, I'm lucky to be here playing football, but then you don't really worry about yourself. You worry about your family because you can't do anything about it. You just hope nothing is going to happen. Biakowski is under contract until the end of the season, and so far has not held talks about prolonging his stay at the Den, but it is clear he is happy and will be keen to stay while Boss Gavrant knows his value. I will be 35 in July, and my contract ends after next season, he said. So when he's 36, that's getting up there, isn't it? There have been no talks about extending it yet. There will be time for that later, because right now we just want to concentrate on doing the best we all can until the end of the season. But if the club is willing to offer, it's definitely something I'll consider, because I'm happy with my form in the club, and there's a tremendous atmosphere in the dressing room, and I love being part of it. Rout said of his number one, Bart's performances have always been very consistent at a higher level. We have 2 great keepers, and George Long has been pushing him to perform that way. He makes big saves for us and earned that trust over a big period of time. He's an incredibly hard worker in training, and he looks after himself. A diligent commitment gets rewards, and it's a good lesson for all young players. We've had discussions about his personal worries, as is normal with all the players. He's been very professional in dealing with it. Speaking about the victory over Barnsley, Biakowski said it was good to bounce back after the Swansea defeat to give ourselves a chance again to reach the playoffs. I think it's very much a realistic goal. We have 5 games left, and they are all winnable. And if you think that 72 points are what you need to get you there, then we have a good chance if we can win 4 out of 5. But of course, we don't know if that will be enough. Millwall are at Preston today and at home to Hull on Monday. We have a good record against Preston and our running looks good on paper, the keeper said. But it's not an easy league and anything can happen. We know no one's going to give us anything for free. We have to go out and beat them for ourselves. If we show fight and can get the basics right, we back ourselves. We have creative players who can help us score goals and we are defensively solid. We are going to fight until the end. You've got to go and try. So I thought I'd just bring you that story that was published before today's game. And now we get into the meat of the matter. Today's match report from news@den.co.uk. Preston North End 1, Millwall 1. And just before we get into that, if you look on the right hand side, you can see what that result has done. We actually dropped a place. Coventry have matched us on points and goal difference after their 4-2 win over Birmingham, when they were 2-0 down at one point and they came back and scored 4 goals. So maybe they're the ones who will get in the playoffs, which would be crazy. So Millwall had to settle for a point in their playoff quest as they came from behind to draw 1-1 against Preston North End at Deepdale on Good Friday. Murray Wallace scored an own goal to give the hosts the lead, but then atoned for that by heading home Jed Wallace's delivery to make it 1-1. Yeah, Murray Wallace, man on a mission to make up for that own goal. And what the fuck is going on in away games? 3 away games in a row, 3 own goals. George Saville, Jake Cooper, now Murray Wallace. What is happening? Are we playing too deep? Crosses that the opposition put in are being put in by our own defenders. I don't know. Weird though. That is very weird. Gary Rowett's Lions had opportunities to win it in the second half, and they might feel it was both a point gained as well as a missed chance. After the results of the top 6 rivals meant they moved a point closer to the top 6. Coventry though went a place above them as they came back from 2 goals down to win 4-2 at Birmingham City, as I've just told you. Millwall are 10th, 3 points behind the 6th place Sheffield United, who dramatically lost 2-1 at home to Reading, having levelled in the last minute. But Middlesbrough, who are 3rd, 2 points off in the playoffs, had a game in hand on both sides. Middlesbrough aren't 3rd. Middlesbrough are 7th. Middlesbrough, who are 7th, have a game in hand on both sides. Brad Potts had an early effort blocked before Wallace could only turn Daniel Johnson's cross past Bart Biakowski in the 6th minute. Biakowski saved comfortably from Sean Maguire in the 11th minute, and then Billy Mitchell had an effort at the other end 2 minutes later, but shot wide. The Lions levelled in the 21st minute as Murray powered Jed's cross past Daniel Iverson and into the top corner for his 6th goal of the season. Greg Cunningham fired over in the 26th minute, and the Lily Whites lost captain Alan Brown to injury 3 minutes later. Ali McCann coming on. Danny Ballard just failed to reach Jay Cooper's flick on 4 minutes before the break. Coopers was then required in his own box in the 44th minute to deny Maguire. The Lions could have taken the lead on 54 minutes, but after a chaotic sequence in the Preston penalty area when Benick Fobi, Jed Wallace, Danny McMurray all had attempts blocked, Iverson kept out, Miko Keftenbeld shot towards the top corner. I think it actually hit the bar. Ireland international Maguire threatened the game 4 minutes later as he went through only for Biakowski to pull off a brilliant save. The sides traded chances again after an hour as Andrew used his shot from 30 yards and Scott Malone's half volley didn't really trouble Biakowski or Iverson. Mitchell blocked Johnson's shot and Biakowski again saved comfortably from Potts to keep it level. Potts was replaced by Josh Murphy, who was quickly into the action with a curling shot that Biakowski tipped around the post. Millwall manager Rowett injected fresh energy into the side when Tom Bradshaw came for Oliver Burke in the 72nd minute and George Saville for Mitchell 2 minutes later. In between those changes, Cooper headed a corner wide. Iverson was equal to a Fobi shot from Jed Wallace's pass with 9 minutes left, and a minute later Bradshaw set up Saville, whose attempt was blocked by McCann. Bradshaw tried to force the second with 2 minutes left, but Iverson again came to the home side's rescue before Bradshaw headed over from the corner. Yeah, we definitely did go for it. Millwall host Hull City, who beat Steve Morrison's Cardiff 2-1 today at the Den on Monday. So there you go. And the team was Biakowski, McNamara, Danny Ballard, Cooper, Murray Wallace, Malone, Mitchell, Houston Bell, Jed Wallace, Afobe and Burke. And as mentioned previously, Saville came on for Billy Mitchell in the 74th minute. Bradshaw came on for Burke in the 72nd minute. And the unused substitutes were Long, Hutchison, Ojo, Leonard and Evans. So Hutchison back on the bench. Could we see him start on Monday? Maybe, because Scott Malone seems to have something wrong with his hand, maybe a dislocated finger or something like that. But he stayed on. He did stay on. Maybe it's just bruised. Maybe it won't be that bad. Maybe it's just a finger. Maybe he can play. But if not, maybe Murray Wallace moves to the left, and then Hutchison can come in as one of those free centre backs. But we will see. So yeah, we really did try and win this game in the late stages. We were going forward, and at times we did expose ourselves at the back to quick counter attacks. But luckily we had a bit of luck and a bit of skill. Didn't concede, frankly. So there's how that goes. And so yeah, 1-1. Not the worst of results, but could have been the day when we made a massive step to get into the playoffs, because as mentioned, a lot of teams around us did not do very well today. We'll get onto that later, but before we do that, we'll get onto Gary Rowett's post-match comments. So Millwall's Gary Rowett reacts to draw at Preston after another frenzied day in the playoff race. Or maybe they'll tell us here. So this is from news@den.co.uk. Gary Rowett will be pleased enough with the point at Preston North End on Friday, but only if they follow up with a win at Hull City on Monday. Millwall came from behind at Deepdale. Murray Wallace cancelling out his 6-minute own goal with the equaliser in the 21st minute. And yes, this is another thing to put on the list of Murray Wallace player of the season. He scores an own goal, and if you watch the goal later on when it's up on YouTube for the highlights, see how he jumped for that. It was like he really did get into it. The result meant the Lions moved 1 point closer to the 6th place Sheffield United, who conceded in injury time to lose 2-1 at home to Reading. That barely tells the story of a frantic day in the top 6 race. Coventry came from 2 goals down to beat Birmingham City to 4-2 away, and moved above the Lions on goal difference into the 9th. I don't think it's goal difference because it says we have the same goal difference, so I think it may even be goals scored. Is that the next thing that breaks the tie? So yeah, what I did today, I was listening on iFollow, and I was watching Sky Sports News, and because I don't know if you know this, when the game isn't on a Saturday, they do this thing where anytime a league goal goes in, they basically show it about 3 minutes later on the thing. So you know, normally when you watch Sky Sports News, they go to the reporter. When they go to the reporter will start talking, and then they'll show the goal. They'll show you the goal that went in, but they can only do that on games that aren't on Saturdays. And they've been doing this for quite a few years now. The only thing with that is, of course, I'm listening to iFollow, so I'll mute it, but I would mute it anyway, because Sky Sports News, the results program, it's taking a turn for the worse. It's absolutely fucking dire these days. They've got rid of anyone with any personality or anyone funny, and they've replaced them with boring tryhards and like women. Why is there a woman telling me about football? I don't understand that. This is seriously, nothing of value was added. What is the point of that? And it's not hard to see why Jeff Stelling's throwing in the towel at the end of the season and retiring. So, but if you want to see the goals, that's where they are. So just mute the sound and crack on. That's what I was doing today, and it was a crazy day today. Other results were more favourable. Middlesbrough drew 0-0 at Bournemouth, and our seventh. Yeah, that was the Sky live game. Can you imagine that? And our seventh, 2 points off the Blades, but with a game in hand on them and the Lions. Blackburn Rovers conceded twice late on to lose 2-1 at Peterborough United. Rovers are a point and 2 places above Millwall. So yeah, that was another one. Blackburn Rovers scored. Oh no, they had a player sent off. I think they were losing. No, they were winning. Then Peterborough come back, equalised, and thought, wow. And then no, they ended up conceding again. It was 2-1 to Blackburn Rovers. 2-1 to Peterborough. Insane. Luton are perhaps now out of Millwall's reach after their 1-0 win at home to Nottingham Forest, put them 4th on 68 points, 6 points ahead of the Lions. With 4 games to go, that's a step too far. Millwall and Luton have 4 games left, Forest in 5th out of 6. It was therefore not a surprise that after their draw against Ryan Lowe's side, Rowett was asked if he had mixed feelings about the result, and he said, "Yeah, I think so. When you look at the results afterwards, and we're 3 points behind Sheffield United, it was important that we didn't lose the game." Rowett told Millwall's media, "We had a couple of moments second half when you think, really, we've created a couple of very, very good chances that could be the difference in winning it. Maybe there was a penalty shout at the end on Bradders. It was a pretty even game. First half, I thought we didn't put enough energy into the performance. I was disappointed with our start. I don't suppose a 7-hour coach journey up here yesterday would have helped. But Preston are a good side, and you can't allow them to dictate the game at home, because they've had a very good home form and they moved the ball really well. They caused us 1 or 2 problems, but on the whole, I thought we defended well and actually gave opportunities away by losing the ball in cheap areas. That was our issue first half. It was maybe a little bit like the first half against Barnsley. I said to players, listen, if you want to win games like this at the end of the season, you've got to grasp them by the scruff of the neck. You can't wait." So that was a little bit disappointing, but I thought we grew into the game. Second half, I thought we were much better. We had a lot more control of the game. We still have to defend 1 or 2 moments, a couple of set pieces at the end. Overall, if you look at it, possession was pretty even, shots were pretty even, chances were pretty even, and it was really about which side could take one of those chances that might be the difference. Neither could, and while I think a point is not too much good for Preston, a point for us might be okay if we go and win on Monday. It's as simple as that. Certainly, we need to start games a little bit better. Indeed. And I think, moving on from the comments from South London Press, I think it's basically the same. Yeah, it's basically the same, but there's a few more words in the South London Press one. So yeah, sorry about that. But moving on now, I know this is not in that one because this is from the Preston manager. What was he had to say? So we could have been out of sight. Preston boss Lowe's verdict on 1-1 draw against Millwall. Ryan Lowe reckons the Preston North End should have scored 3 or 4 more goals against Millwall. Really? And added they could have been out of sight. The championship fixture at Deepdale ended in a 1-1 draw after Murray Wallace cancelled out his earlier own goal. They couldn't even fucking score 1 goal, mate. We scored it for you, so fuck off. What are you talking about, 3 or 4 goals? North End boss Lowe said we should have had more. We should have been out of sight and finished them off. We were worthy of 2 goals in the first half. And in the second half, you saw the chances we created. Mill had a couple of chances as well, I'm not denying that. Daniel Iverson made some good saves. We should have had 3 or 4 more goals, like we should have done last week against QPR. One thing I'm pleased about is the entertainment, the patterns of play we work. There are some bits in there that certainly need to be better, we know that. The ball retention and the turnovers, which we are working on every day. We know that we can get up the top end of the pitch, and it is then having that little bit of quality in front of goal. If you have that quality, we will score 3 or 4 goals. Like I said, we scored your goal for you. You didn't even score 1 goal, mate. So yeah, let's look at the crazy results happened today. So what I'd mentioned in the previous videos about needing Forest to win that game to catch Luton, that's dead in the water. So now, but let's show you the table. We'll show you the table first. So what's basically happened is what I said would happen. There'll be one team, the team in 6, that we would need to target, and it will be basically us and 3 other teams. Well, now we're joined by Coventry, so it's 5 teams, us and 4 other teams battling for that one place, which is even more fucking crazy. Because Forest do have the 2 games in hand. Well, they went away to Luton and they lost today, first loss in 6 or so games. But maybe that's good for them. Maybe it's a wake up call. Maybe they started puffing their chests out a little bit too much, thinking they're chocolate. So maybe that's a good for them, a wake up call. But what I said was there will be a team in 6, which I thought would be Luton, because I thought they would lose today, that we could target and we could get at. And it's turned out it was actually Sheffield United, because they lost to team in 21st, Reading, who are now all but safe. Derby County actually won today at home to Fulham. Can you believe that? So it's been an absolute crazy day for the league today. But here we are. We drop a place. Coventry are very much in the shout for the playoffs now. It's basically 5 teams battling for that one place. Sheffield United, I thought, because they had a few extra home games than everyone else, that they would be the ones in with a shout. Middlesbrough have got an extra game in hand, but that is, I think it's at home against Cardiff. So maybe Steve Morrison, do us a favour, mate, win that game. That would be fantastic. But yeah, it's looking very. It would be looking a lot better if we had that win. To be honest, we would be on 64 points, which would put us in 7th, and it would be the graphics would be manifestly a lot better to look at when you're in 7th, 1 point off of 6th place. You would really fucking believe that you could be doing it. And now we go 2 days off into a game on Monday 3 o'clock against a team in 19th. They won today as well, I believe. They beat Cardiff. So here are the results today. Peterborough beating Blackburn, fantastic. So we are one of the teams in that playoff hunt who had a good result today. Now Coventry Birmingham, that's a bit of a local derby. Coventry were playing at Birmingham City's ground last season, so maybe there's something in that to be proven. Now Birmingham were 2-0 up. Did they take their eye off the ball? I mean, this is what happens in end of season games. Some weird scorelines, some weird situations, and here we go. Yeah, Huddersfield Town drew with QPR, who were absolutely dire. So are QPR back? Are they starting to perform now? Because we probably need them to beat Sheffield United at home in a couple of weeks. Derby County beating Fulham. Fulham needed to win that game to secure the league. They would have been promoted today, but they didn't do it. So yeah, so here we go. Let's moving on. So here you go. What's going to happen on Monday is going to be another crazy day. We've got the Middlesbrough Huddersfield Town game at the lunchtime. Now that's 2 teams at the top. Team in 7th playing the team in 3rd. The team in 3rd obviously trying to get into that 2nd position because Bournemouth drew today. Huddersfield and themselves drew today. But that's a gap that can be closed, that 4-point gap there. But Bournemouth do have 2 games in hand, so Huddersfield need to get their skates on and perform. Blackburn at home to Stoke City. That might be more winnable for them, which would be bad for us. Luton away at Cardiff. I have no idea. About that one. Hopefully. Now Luton had a player sent off today. Sonny Bradley. They had a lot of cards as well. maybe they might struggle. Now Coventry against Bournemouth. Now this is good, because again, Bournemouth up at the top, they've got Huddersfield breathing down their necks. If in that early game Huddersfield win, Bournemouth are going to need to respond, and Coventry need to get slapped down for us to do okay. Again, us at home to Hull, we've got a fantastic home record. I imagine there'll be a lot of fans there. It's bank holiday Monday. It should be quite sunny, I believe. Not as hot as today, but it's going to be sunny. I think today was the hottest day of the year so far. QPR, no, that's not really involved in that. And Sheffield United go away at Bristol City in the evening games. So, and Forest are at home to West Brom. It's you can't really predict it, can you? It's crazy league, crazy results. We've just got to do what we can do and beat Hull, and hopefully the rest will work out how it works out. But maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. That's all you can do is try and win your games. We've got after today we got to go away to Birmingham. Now our away form has been dog shit. We scored three own goals in our last 3 away games. We only conceded 1 goal in today's away game. The previous 2 it was 2. So that seems to be an easier prospect in terms of an away game that we could win away at Birmingham. And then we've got Peterborough at home. They should be relegated by them, but they put up a hell of a fight today against whoever it was. Who did they beat? Forgotten already. Against Blackburn. So you just got to win your games and see how the rest pans out. Now, and finally, I'm going to move on to this story, which is a bit of a weird one, from news@den.co.uk about Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. What's happening here then? So, Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola thanks Millwall ahead of FA Cup clash against Liverpool. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola thanks Millwall for the use of the Den on Good Friday and paid tribute to late journalist Paul Jiggins. City trained at SE16 ahead of their FA Cup semi-final against Premier League title rivals Liverpool at Wembley on Saturday. So they're playing the Cup final tomorrow. The Lions were at Deepdale where they drew 1-1 against Preston North End. In his pre-match press conference in the Paul Jiggins media suite, Guardiola took time to thank Millwall and to mention the Sun journalist and a Lions fan. He said, "It is exhausting to travel from Manchester to London. The people in the club tried to find somewhere near the ground. This is why we used Millwall," Guardiola explained. "On behalf of Man City and me as manager, we are more than grateful to Millwall to allow us to use this incredible pitch. It was in perfect condition. To be here in this room dedicated to Paul Jiggins, a legend in journalism who passed away a few weeks ago. It was a lovely day in London. Thank you Millwall to help us train. We didn't have a place, we owe them one. When they come to Manchester, we'll of course allow them to train at our facilities." Never mind that, mate. How about you loan us some decent fucking players? Liam Delap or any other youngster you got going, or spare players. We'll take anyone. So yeah, there's some pictures there on the Den. Raheem Sterling playing at the Den, and no one was there to see it. And their tops are the same colour as our seats. Nice. So yeah, and on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.